Happy Friday. What's up, Nasties? It's a game day. Edmonton Oilers host the Anaheim Ducks, looking to avenge their butt kicking they got last weekend. Was it last weekend? A couple weekends ago. I'm so lost. No, it was last weekend. Yeah, last weekend. Welcome to EST Afternoons. It's Joaquin Gage, Hernan Salas, Zach Kubish, who have a bone to pick with in a bit here. A bone. Mike Gager.
A bone.
Oh. Welcome to EST Afternoons. Fun show to close out the week. Of course, we'll have the Oil Stream pre- and post-game shows today starting at 6 o'clock with Tom Gazzola, handsome Tom Gazzola. He just wrapped up the Oil Stream. We'll be back. You're on pre- and post-show duties as well?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I just got the message that you're in for good old Castle. That should be fun. I'm expecting a big night in terms of an Oilers victory down there. We'll get to all that. Of course, Canada out at the World Juniors. A lot of controversy in that game. I'm going to ask good old Gager what he thought of a few penalties there. The winning goal scored by an Oil King.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. So they tweeted out. They're like, our guy scored. They're like, sorry, but like we're just, you know, we're just giving him props. We're not. I was like, why are you apologizing? Like, figure it out, people. Fun show today at 1:40. Our good buddy Derek Van Diest will join us. He's down at Oilers Optional Skate. And we'll touch on all things Oilers. Maybe we'll check in on the Canucks as well. And, of course, World Juniors. That's at 1:40. At 2:20, one of our favorites, Lee Hacksaw Hamilton, will join us to tee up an exciting weekend in the NFL. Maybe talk some college ball as well, as it's the last week in the NFL as we get ready for the playoffs. Still a few spots up for grabs. A division up for grabs. Going to be the game of the week between the Lions and the Vikings. We're going to have a lot of fun on this show. Gager, how you doing? What's shaking?
Not much, man. I'm okay. The interesting kind of day in hockey yesterday with the World Juniors. I was interested to see the Ducks-Jets game. The Ducks prevailing at the end of that, winning in overtime, which was pretty impressive. So I'd like to see that the Oilers kind of maintain the same level of play against Utah and take advantage of a team coming in off a back-to-back, right? So, I expect a kind of a similar first period, I guess. But again, just getting some extended zone time, especially in that second period, where I found that the last game the Oilers did such a good job at those guys coming in probably late, not getting into bed until like 3 or 4, and just taking advantage of possibly a tired team.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's a good point. Anaheim did win in overtime, and they traveled in. Let's get to, first of all, hit us up on the YouTube channel. Watch us there. If you're watching, send us messages on the Nasty Chat. Hit up the thumbs up. Let's get to 100. It's been a slow weekend. It's still holiday time, Gager. You can tell driving in. You
can tell it's there's a malaise in the city too. How about Ovechkin?
He's great.
He's just a machine.
He's gonna get it, and I can't wait. It'd be such a big kick in the what if he's like 1 or 2 off, and we have to wait till next year. But he's gonna get there. I think so. It's just the goal he scored. It's amazing how he's still able to do it at his age. It's still just a missile. Yeah,
and he can put it exactly where he wants to. Great shot. And what I like about it most is you can't distinguish between Alex Ovechkin's first goal he ever scored and his whatever. He's just so excited to score goals. I love that. I just love that.
It's great. Of course, hit us up on the River Cree inbox at 780-218-9999. The afternoon inbox is presented by the River Cree Resort and Casino. Canadian musician Alan Doyle and comedian Ben Bankas coming to the River Cree in January. For details on tickets, visit www.rivercreeresort.com. And of course, live here from the William Huff Studios here in the west end of the city. And if you want to listen, of course, always iHeart, TuneIn, or Edmonton Sports Talk. .com. Gager, we'll get to Oilers. We'll do a lot of Oilers, but that Canada game. 3-1 heading into the third. I guess I want to get your thoughts on the penalty that was a 5-minute major.
So the first one there.
Yeah, and I want to get your thoughts on the last one that led to the winning goal. I'll say this, and your fans are fans, and that's why they react this way. But if those hits were reversed, would you want it to be a penalty?
What do you mean reversed?
Like if that was the check on a Czechian player on Canada, would you think it was a penalty?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I don't think it was for a 5-minute. I think it was a penalty. I don't think he should have got what he did.
Do we have it? I should look at it again. I just didn't find them penalties. Like they're hits. We've been talking about, well, in the NHL anyway, you look at the headshots, right? And where's the initial point of contact? It's shoulder to shoulder when that happens. So, and look, I remember when I did play on Team Canada and we would go over to Europe and play, and we played a more of a aggressive style, and you almost got penalties for hitting too hard. Like if a guy fell down, like he would get the whistles in the crowd, and the refs are so easily influenced over there, and you had to adjust your playing style. So that's part of it, but I don't find those two are just good hits. Maybe it's tripping, possibly. It's not a major at all. I have a real tough time actually saying that they're both penalties.
I think Zach has it here. Here we go. But like
he's got the puck and he tries to get out of the way, and it's
a penalty. I don't think it's
Why
5
is that
minutes.
A penalty?
Because
what did he do?
He knocks him down. Like, what do you mean?
What do you mean?
That.
You can't knock someone
trip.
down?
That's a trip.
That's not a trip. That's a hit.
No, I think that's 2 minutes. I don't think it's 5. I don't.
Oh God.
And the other one too, it's leg on leg again. And yes,
it's not leg on leg. It's hitting. Boom. It's forearm first, and it's the Czech guy trying to get out of the way. If he just takes the hit, he's fine. But he gets out of the way there. He tries to. The feet of both players don't move. Like, they're going straight.
Yeah.
Like there's no reaching by the Canadian player. That's when you find the knee on knees. It's not even knee on knee, though. He hits him with the shoulder, and then they both kind of get their legs wrapped up. It's not a penalty.
Like I said, at most I'd go 2 minutes. I don't think it was a 5 minute like they called it. And then the last one.
Okay, so just reverse it. So say the Canadian player has the puck.
It's still a penalty, right?
Oh, Jesus.
Have I become soft?
My God.
I just don't like. Listen, I understand it shouldn't have been a major. I think that was a little bit overblown there. But I'm just saying, if they were reversed, I think a lot of fans would be like, "That's a penalty. Canada should be on the power play."
Of course, that's your home team. You're going to say that. But yeah, I find both ways. If the Canadian player has the puck, I don't think it's a penalty. It's just a good hit.
What do you think out there? Let us know. We already got McDiesel says that's a ref call. Ha ha ha. He also says no. Kelvin says I'm with Gager. Norm Peel says neither of those were penalties. Lars says side groin on side groin. Laugh out loud. VR says the same. That looked groin to groin. And yeah, it's okay. Beyond that, I didn't like the winning goal.
What, the goal that went? Yeah, no.
Like, he's there, and like you see it from the goalie's angle, and that puck went the only spot that was open. It was just.
It wasn't a good tracking moment of the puck, and he just went down and hoped it hit him.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. Then he realized, oh my gosh, like he left a little bit on the short side, which shouldn't have happened. And yeah, not the best look on that goal. Very, very fortunate for the Czechs to score, I think, but kind of a mistake on the goal. I got to put that on the goalie.
Okay, so you agree? You say those weren't penalties. You say the last goal was misplayed. The goal scorer was Oil King, which is kind of cool. The coach after the game, Mr. Cameron, said he had no regrets. I mean, some self-reflection is always good, Gager. Like, what did you make of the overall tournament? I know we didn't watch every game, but from the outside kind of looking in, we had Guillaume. Discipline was a big one. They couldn't score.
Nope.
Right? You saw that yesterday. I think it was a 2-on-1 with Easton Cowan. And you see the guy, his line mate kind of go put his arm like, what are you doing? Pass him wide open.
I mean, the thing was, it wasn't like the goalie was cheating either.
Yeah.
Like, it was a tap in. And I believe Cowan's a Maple Leafs pick, too.
Yes.
This poor kid. Stop it. I mean, I don't know if it's Leaf fans or maybe it's non-Leaf fans that are doing this, but this guy is getting dragged.
Yeah, it's too much.
It's too much for this kid. You're stop it.
Like a lot of disgrace throwing out there. Like these guys are kids. They work their butts off. They try to win the game, Gage. Or just sometimes it doesn't go your way.
Oh yeah.
And you look at coaching, sure.
It's I like it. I think, I don't know, maybe the World Junior fatigue in me has sparked a little bit. I'm kind of interested to see what happens next year. Who's going to be picking the team? What types of, because these are going to be the questions, right? They're going to be, not that they're already under the microscope for a lot of it, but the whole team construction, I think, has to be a little bit different because there was just too much talent. What was the biggest issue aside from
scoring?
Yeah. And there were so many really talented goal scorers that were left out of this lineup.
So I'll ask you this, because when a coach comes in and selects the team and just picks the best players, people are like, well, you got to build your third line, fourth line. Then they do that and they're like, well, you're not taking the best players available. Like there's always like a middle ground here. And Guy said it, and Guy knows more junior hockey than you and I. You just said they left a lot of goal scorers off this team, and it came back to and then they scratched one of their better offensive players yesterday as well.
I believe it's Colin Fraser, right? Old Oiler.
Yeah.
King. He's
Chicago,
from he was he got a cup with the Kings, I believe. He played on that team, the ridiculous World Junior team, right? He tells a great story. About going to camp and looking at the lineup, and he sees Crosby, Getzlaf, and Fraze was a big scorer in junior, right?
Yeah.
But he looks at the lineup and goes, look, I am not going to play ahead of those two guys. I have to find a way to be successful and make this team. And so what does he do? He says, I kind of had to change my game. I had to make sure I won every single defensive zone draw. I had to be responsible in my own end. I couldn't be cheating. So that's people say, oh, you got to pick the best team, but you got to pick the smart players too. Guys have to realize that that's not my role within this team, and maybe that's the part of the coaching staff that they have to delegate. Look, I know you have, you're scoring like crazy on your junior team, but that's not your job here. I want you to be you're going to be going up against the top players of the other teams and trying to shut them down, or giving us a spark, giving that momentum shift with a big hit or something like that. So those are the conversations that they need to have. I don't think it's a problem picking the best players. There's going to be players that are better than, the hierarchy of it all. There's going to be some really good ones and some good ones and some that are still good players, but they're just not as good as the top guys. And that's the job of the coaching staff and stuff. You can't just have, okay, you guys are all number one lines, go score, and do that. There's
roles.
And you have to have smart players. Fraze is a perfect example. This is a kid who wasn't told this, just saw the lineup of the team and adjusted his style of play so he could play on one of the greatest World Junior teams we've ever seen.
Speaking of that, happy birthday to Sean Bell today.
Bellsy!
Yeah. Happy birthday, Bellsy.
He's probably still recovering from his daughter's birthday.
Good old Bellsy. It's his big birthday today. So
wow.
We wish the big guy, and then tomorrow on Hello Hockey, make sure to wish him a nice happy birthday there as well. But unfortunate for Canada, you saw the fans in the stands just crushed with 39 seconds left to go. They kept showing the goalie's family, and his sister couldn't even watch. It's crushing, but now you move on. It's Finland, Sweden, and USA against Czechia. 4 really good teams. Gage.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be fun to watch this. But Canada is set for a reset. We'll see if they come in with a new coaching staff.
Oh, yeah. It'll be a complete revamp.
A new way of maybe selecting the squad as well and move forward, because this is twice now they've been ousted by Czechia.
You know what, though? You know what really drove my bus last night. Like, I was looking at flights to Ottawa to find this guy, but that jabroni that threw the jersey on the ice.
Oh yeah.
Whoa,
like,
dude.
Calm down.
That is
like,
that's a completely different way. Like, you don't, like, okay, when you're in the dressing room, Nanso, like, your jersey does not touch the ground.
Of course.
Like,
yeah.
it's sacred, those things. They're always laid out. And whatever, your home team, when an Oilers jersey gets thrown on, yeah, I don't agree with it, but whatever. That's throwing the flag on the ground, and I hated that. I thought I'm surprised that guy didn't get tackled and stuff. That was completely disrespectful, not only to the hockey team, the World Juniors, and the kids, but to your country itself. That was gross. Absolutely gross.
I understand being upset. And at the NHL level, whatever. They're all men. They're big boys. They can handle that. But when you're doing this with young adults and some are still teenagers, like, what are you doing,
It's got the flag on it, man.
Yeah, like, what are you doing?
That.
And there's a Twitter shot from someone behind him. And you see him right away. And like, that to me, like, I didn't like also they were throwing stuff on the ice. And I get they're mad at the refs, but like, you gotta, sometimes it just happens that way and the refs are not on your side or whatever. And you think it was because of the ref, but you gotta show a little bit more class like that. But that guy, Gager, I hope he got chirped the whole way out of that arena.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
I truly hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we've seen that here in the decade of Dark. We saw it almost 4 or 5 times a year.
Yeah.
In those years, and people would get upset, but like, for me it's different because they're older guys, they can handle it. It is what it is, but not at a World Juniors tournament. People, come on, we gotta relax. And I saw a lot of people on Twitter too, and like people that for media and stuff, and just being so harsh. Like, listen, it's okay to be upset, but like, you want to throw some shade, throw it at management, throw it at the coaches. The players are out there working their butts off.
Yeah.
Of course, you wanted them to do better, and
things didn't work out.
That poor Cowan kid's taking so much heat. Like, leave him alone, man. Like, people going at him on socials and like
this poor kid. Hopefully, things turn around for him and he can.
Chris G says should have thrown the wave instead of stuff on the ice, Hernan.
I couldn't believe a Team Canada jersey being thrown on the ice. That's a first. That I could not believe that. What a sign of disrespect.
You don't do that with the national team.
No.
I worked for the Elks for 3 years, and we had some lean years in there, Gager.
Mm-hmm.
And the jersey was always a point of you don't disrespect it no matter what your record is, man, or how mad you are.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Like, gosh,
there's a respect. Yeah. The logo too on the ground and all that stuff. So I remember Milan Lucic when he was here in Edmonton yelled at someone.
Oh, really?
And they were interviewing someone in a post game.
Yeah.
And then he yelled at them, and you can hear, and he's like, "Get off the logo!" And he threw a few F-bombs to a reporter. Yeah, because they're standing on their logo.
I know. Yeah, you walk around it, man.
Yeah,
it's just something that you do. I think it boosts morale, and it's something that means, like the old adage, you play for what's on the front of the jersey, not on the back. Right?
Exactly. All right, we'll shift gears to the Edmonton Oilers as they get set to host the Anaheim Ducks. A busy January for the Oilers coming up here, so it's going to be a fun little ride here. I think the Oilers are going to bounce back big time. They remember what happened on that mom's trip, and I think they're going to be out for blood today. And I have a feeling they're going to win big, but we'll break it all down next year on EST Afternoons. Keep hammering that thumbs up. We're at 38 already, Gage. That's pretty damn good for the first segment.
Holy
so
smokes.
Let's keep hammering the thumbs up.
Early Friday.
Hit us up on the good old Nasty Chat. And, of course, text us on the River Cree inbox, 780-218-9999. We're back after the break in a sports update with Zach.
The Oilers seek revenge over the Ducks with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas previewing the game during the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show at 6 o'clock right here on EST. And 4 other games around the NHL see the Canadiens face the Blackhawks, the Senators battle the Blues, while Vancouver plays Nashville, seeing Canucks recalling Artur Shilovs from the AHL with Thatcher Demko out of tonight's game due to back spasms. And the NFL has Aaron Jones returning for the Vikings from the injury reserve, and Will Levis gets a start for the Titans, while Spencer Rattler will be the quarterback this week for the Saints, as Derek Carr gets listed as week to week. On the court, the Raptors take on the Magic, having 9 games in the association. This sports update is brought to you by Gimme Virtual Golf. Whether you're looking for a casual round or a serious game, Gimme Virtual Golf has membership and flex passes to fit your style. With premium membership, you get a complimentary winter bag storage. Plus, Gimme Virtual Golf is giving away 2 free hours of golf every week. Gimme Virtual Golf, where innovation meets the game. Find out more at GimmeVirtualGolf.ca. EST Afternoons returns on the other side of the break. I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up to date.
You want the heavy hitters on your team, both on and off the ice. If you've been injured in a car accident, call the heavy hitters of injury law. James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. With over 200 years of combined injury law experience, their precedent-setting lawyers are ready to help. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oilers fans, James H. Brown and Associates wants to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
Edmonton Sports Talk delivers a mass audience of key, influential customers to your business, all while you associate your company brand with the biggest names, the hottest sports news, and teams from every league around the globe. It's where fans go to get their sports fix and where our partners find the most loyal consumers. Contact us today and see how our team on Edmonton Sports Talk can score the biggest goals for your business. With various advertising options available, email business@edmontonsportstalk.com or head to our website, edmontonsportstalk.com. Since 1952, William Huff has been the heartbeat of Edmonton's advertising world. From humble beginnings to a citywide powerhouse, we've been the go-to for signage from print to design and installation. Partnering with Edmonton's top sports franchises and major events, we've helped shape the city's global reputation. Our secret, unmatched customer service, decades of experience, and a passion for excellence we call the William Huff Advantage. Visit us online at williamhuff.com.
It's 1:25. Welcome back to EST Afternoons here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Hit us up on the River Cree inbox, 780-218-9999, or hit us up on the Nasty Chat. That intro song was like pure 80s TV theme.
Yeah, it was like the after school special music.
It's like it's me and it says Hernan Salas. Oh man, I love it. I love that Coob is mixing up the tunes. I wanted to get one here. Oh, this one. Dudley says, the same guy who throws his jersey on the ice after his team loses is the same guy who restarts the game of Chell when he's losing the game.
Yeah.
I used to do that quite often.
Did you?
I'd get so angry, man.
Yeah, I got pummeled yesterday by the computer. That sucked.
Yeah.
Really sucked.
So, yeah. Did you want to?
Well, no, I mean, I was just looking to the future.
Oh.
Nanso, and looking because I just wanted to see the standings in the NHL right now and looking through, because I think at some point here over the next few weeks we got to start looking at possible targets for the Edmonton Oilers. You know, and when you look at these standings, which is just like Nashville sits 7th in the Central with 29 points.
That's unreal.
It's crazy that they're that low, but just kind of looking at possible targets and what makes the most sense. I don't know.
Buffalo's a target for sure. I don't know who you can get out of there though. I think Nashville for sure. Chicago. San Jose, I don't really know. Maybe. I mean, most of their guys are young and they're not moving.
I don't think they want to move them.
Yeah.
Like there's promise there.
Yeah.
I think
The Rangers. If the Rangers are falling to third last in the East, man, that's unreal, Gager.
Yeah, it's
unreal what's happened there.
What a topsy-turvy kind of year, like 35 points tied with the Islanders right now.
I mean, they're only 5 points out of a wild card spot. They can get hot here, but I don't know what's going on with that team. Like, it's kind of similar to Vancouver now. Talks of moving on from Miller. Elias Pettersson's heating up again. A lot of media's posting stuff that Elliott's saying and all that. And Demko leaves the game yesterday, which Talk had called back spasms. But he looked like before he went off, he looked very ginger. Like he was, he could barely move, like gingerly. Like it was bad.
Well, when you drop something and you go to pick it up and you come back quick and you feel your back like tight and you go, uh-oh.
When the sciatic goes.
Yeah. That really shouldn't happen for a goalie. Because if you watch the play, I think it's the defenseman.
Noah Juleson.
Juleson hits him. Yeah. And it's you're not expecting to get hit. And it just kind of jars him and he goes down if you haven't seen it. And he gets up like, he looks like me getting out of bed in the morning, getting back up. And if something that small can throw your game or put you out of a game, I worry about Thatcher Demko and the rest of his career because he's a fantastic goaltender. He's unbelievable. But this guy just cannot stay healthy. Same type of thing. Like, remember Matt Murray? Two great playoff runs, but just seemed to always be injured. All constantly. And
wasn't there another one? I want to say Steve Mason, but maybe he just fell off after his rookie.
I think he just fell off a little bit.
He just fell off. It's unfortunate, but hey, in fairness, Demko hasn't been very good this year. Like,
how is he supposed to be good when he doesn't get to
the first
training camp was done,
yeah.
And then he came back, and everyone says he looks good, and then the slightest little thing, and he's out again. I don't know. But getting back to Pettersson and Miller, I think they're going to look to move on from both of them and just say, you know what, we don't want to deal with this anymore.
Like it's getting,
it's
if you were
toxic,
you were in a room. Like I've been in sports rooms, but I never played anywhere close to your level. Like that must be like, okay, man, like seriously, JT grow up. Or like Pettersson, like have thicker skin. Like I don't know which way you go, right?
Because it's got to be both.
Yeah.
But what it can do is because teams you're all in it together. But when you look at it, there's certain groups that stick together once in a while. Like
you have your cliques.
Young guys stick together, older, sometimes, and it's mixed match. Sometimes the European guys tend to stay together,
of course,
and stuff. So now you probably have two separate camps, or at least two different factions within the Canucks locker room that are, I'm on Petey's side. I like Miller's side or whatever, and it's just you're not going to have success like this. So I really think that they're going to move on from both these guys if they can.
Well, there's a clip from last night, too, where JT Miller, they're about to take a face-off, and he's yelling at Besser. You can tell Besser's kind of like, F off. Like, you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
And listen, you have players like that are just, they're just a-holes in the room, right? But they get stuff done. Like, I saw it with the Elks, buddy. But that guy, he got in people's faces. He didn't sugarcoat anything. But it was effective, and he was a hell of a player on the field.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, you have to back it up, too, right? And, I mean, if we're just going to focus on Miller, like, he it looks like he demands a lot from his teammates to certain points, right? But, again, it works for a bit, but it turns into the coach that yells all the time, right? It has an effect, but if you're doing it constantly, all the time, you're just going to get guys tuning out after a while.
Yeah, and I always wondered too if JT Miller is a guy that can is he one of those guys that can dish it but can't take it?
Well, I mean, you need another big personality in there that can maybe standing up to him is not the right word, but yeah, I'm trying to think of other situations where in professional sports where you've seen this type of thing happen. And I mean, we've talked to people in Vancouver. Like, this was supposed to, after last season, they had high hopes for this team, taking Edmonton to 7. So they were looking at, wow, we might do something special this year. And now it's just, they're sitting in 8th. They're in a playoff spot right now, right? So, but how, when it gets to playoffs and, the emotions are so high and from the wins and losses, if they're all just yelling at each other, you're not going to go far.
It's very similar to the Oilers after their 17 run, where the expectations were through to the roof the next year, and everything that could go wrong went wrong, and they missed the playoffs. It's not to that extent because they're still in a playoff spot, but they've had last year they had no injuries, barely, until Demko in late March or mid-March. They had career years from all their guys, pretty much.
Quinn Hughes wins the Norris.
Yeah, so this year it's like Quinn Hughes is out, Pettersson is out. They've lost Demko for the majority. They've lost many other players, right? Like Dakota Joshua didn't start the season with them. Mm-hmm. It's been interesting to see what's happening there. And we'll continue to track it. JT Miller has a no movement, so he's got to select where he wants to go if that's the case. And I know New York keeps coming up, but we'll wait and see if they swap star players here because New York has some interesting guys as well. But the Oilers are in action. It was an optional this morning, Gager, so it looks like the lines will be the same as what we had yesterday. RNH with McDavid and Connor Brown, Podkolzin, Draisaitl, Arvidsson, Hyman, Janmark, and Kapanen, and Skinner with Adam Enrique and Corey Perry. Your defensive pairings are the same. I know we're going to talk about it a lot on the pregame show, but I see this game as a blowout for Edmonton.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I think what happened to them last Sunday, they blew two goal leads. They were lackluster in that game. It was an uninspiring effort. I think they're going to be like, hey, we let these guys off the hook once. I think if let's just say they get out to a quick lead here, 1-0, 2-0, they're not going to stop. They're going to keep going. So I'm expecting big nights. And if you saw Maddie's parlay that he did on the hang-up, it's pretty confident that the Oilers are going to score a lot tonight. Let's just put it there.
I hate to do it to you, buddy, but I disagree. I think this is going to be you've got a Ducks team that's had some recent success. They're feeling good about themselves. They beat the Edmonton Oilers and the Winnipeg Jets here. We're all within a week and a half. So this isn't going to be easy. The Oilers are going to have to play a full 60, I think, tonight to come close to winning this game. And if they do and they execute and play at their intensity level, they should win this game. But I think you're going to see a hard-nosed type of game. They've got two beasts on defense that can make it tough on guys. And from what I saw from that game last night against the Winnipeg Jets, the Ducks look like a completely different team. So, yeah, I'm going to say I still think the Oilers should win this, but I think it's only by a goal. What did I say yesterday? Did I say 4-3 Oilers? Yeah, I'm going to stick with it.
They're minus 19, so differential. So I think the Oilers roll them. Which side are you on? Joaquin saying close game or Hernan calling it a blowout? I'm calling it a blowout for the Oilers.
I might get down there and start the wave. So
don't you dare. Don't you dare. And then your starting goaltenders, Stuart Skinner versus Lucas Dostal, who's been pretty good. He had a really good game here in Edmonton years ago.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
He was outstanding. But
goalied is some of them.
Goalied. That's the definition of an Oiler team being a goalied. Gager, do you like these lines? I mean, they worked against Utah. I thought, like I told you yesterday, I thought that game was kind of a dud. It was kind of a sleepy game, and I thought the Oilers were never in danger of losing it. But the second line remains intact. We're not worried about that. Connor Brown takes Hyman's spot on the first line. He's with Janmark and Kapanen. I don't mind these lines, but this is not something I see long term.
Again, it's weird to see Hyman pushed down into the lineup, you know? And I'll stick to my guns. I said it yesterday. I think that this is the coaching staff saying, we need more out of you, more of that More play like Podkolzin, kind of, in a way. Like, just there needs to be more of a physical aspect to his game. I'm not saying it's not there completely, but I just, from what we normally see from Hyman, I think there's another gear that he gets to, and I think this is kind of a shot across the bow from the coaching staff.
But I think Hyman has been great. Like, I don't see him as struggling.
When you watch him, his style of play has changed a little bit, to me anyway, where his grinding style has left him a little bit, where he initiates physically with the opposing defenders and makes life really difficult for them. I just think there's that a little bit of more of a mean on from Hyman, I think, during the game.
Rip City Step, I agree with Mr. Gage, but not in a way that's negative towards Hernan. Joyful January. What do you agree with? We've disagreed all show so far. This one, no name, says Ducks also beat New Jersey. I'm with Gage. Yeah, but that doesn't mean squat. Come on, guys. Yeah, they're playing better, but I still think the Oilers. I think McDavid's going to take it personal. I think Draisaitl's going to take it personal. It was the mom's trip, and they let them down, Gager. They're not going to let it happen again. New year, they're going to come out guns. I just see this one not being close. I think Anaheim's in for a tough night. And you made a good point. They played last night. They got in late. Travel.
It sets up good for the Oilers. I'll say that. But you want to see them drop the hammer on these guys.
Yeah. And again, the All-Stream pregame show will start at 6 o'clock following 3 hours of Reed Wilkins and Jay Mill. Joaquin Gage will be filling in for Matty Cassian, and I'll be alongside Tom Gazzola as well. And it will be the three of us once again for the post-game show, and then we'll be back tomorrow. I think Cass is back tomorrow, Gager. I don't know if you're in or not, but...
Well, I'll just wait for Tom Gazzola to give me a call and say, Gager, do it. So mean.
Portions of this hour brought to you by the Canadian Brew House. Host your team or league fundraiser at the Canadian Brew House for a chance to win $2,500 with tons of options to choose from. The Canadian Brew House can help you raise the funds for your crew. Details in store or online at CanadianBrewHouse.com. Up next, we'll be joined by Derek Van Diest from NHL.com as we'll continue to tee up Oilers and Ducks. We're back after the break, but first up, a sports update with Zach.
It's Oilers-Ducks rematch with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show live with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas just an hour before puck drop right here on EST. And there's 4 other games, including the Panthers battling the Pens and the Canucks facing the Predators, having Artur Shilovs getting recalled from the AHL in response to Thatcher Demko being sidelined due to back spasms. And down south, the Vikings have activated Aaron Jones for the final game before playoffs, while Spencer Rattler starts for the Saints and Will Levitz gets the call for Tennessee. In basketball, Toronto throws it down with Orlando. Cavs play the Mavericks, and the Knicks face the Thunder on a 9-game NBA slate. We have a quick timeout before NHL.com's Derek Van Diest joins Hernan and Joaquin. I'm Zachary Kubish, keeping you in the loop.
Make a fresh start in the new year with Sentinel Storage. With convenient locations near you, Sentinel Storage is here to help you make space for everything 2024 holds. Sentinel Storage. Shop Canadian, store Canadian. Try 4 weeks free. Visit sentinelstorage.ca.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki in a tuxedo t-shirt because it says, like, he wants to be formal, but he's also here to party too. Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road Park.
Your home for live music and great performances is the River Cree Resort and Casino.
When I'm up, I can't get down, can't get down, can't get level.
Don't miss Canadian singer-songwriter Alan Doyle as he brings the East to the West, January 17th.
I said, hey, it's just an ordinary day. and it's all your state of mind.
Get your tickets at River Cree Resort and Casino. River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement, bet on it.
Book your holiday party at the CBH today. The Canadian Brewhouse is your ultimate destination for events, parties, fundraisers, and more. 'Tis the season to celebrate. Visit and book now in-store or at thecanadianbrewhouse.com.
It's 1:42. Welcome back to EST Afternoons. Hit us up on the River Cree inbox at 780-218-9999. Big shout out to Warren, who won the 2 hours at Gimme Virtual Golf for answering correctly.
Nice.
The two Chilean players that were on the Live Tour Golf roster. It was Joaquin Neiman and Mito Pereira. So congratulations. In another 2 weeks, we'll have another giveaway for sure, and throughout, I think, right up until March. So lots of chances to get in there for sure. Hit us up on the Nasty Chat and keep hammering that thumbs up. We're close to 50. Let's get to 100. We're not even through the first hour yet, so a good start. But let's talk Oilers Ducks here with our good buddy Derek Van Diest from NHL.com. The DVD. Happy New Year, my friend. I heard you spent it with Tommy. How was your New Year's Eve?
It was good. We spent majority of it at the rink. We didn't get out of the rink, I think, till around 11:30. So, but we did make it in time before midnight to our local hangout here. So it was good. It was a good night.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Big game tonight.
Just had to play a little catch up.
Yeah. I shouldn't say big game tonight, but the Oilers are looking to bounce back after an ugly loss to this same team, over the last weekend. And what do you make of the new lines? It worked against Utah. I can't see Hyman being in the third line for too long going here. I think this is fine for now, DVD, but I don't see this as a long-term fix when it comes to the lines for the Edmonton Oilers. Do you?
No, it's not. And it's something that I think we're getting kind of here that, Chris Knobloch said that, sometimes you just got to change things up a little bit.
Yeah.
They get stale after a while. It's a long season. Playing with the same players after a while gets a little stale. So I think he's just trying to stir things up a little bit. I know he didn't like the way things went in Anaheim on the weekend. He didn't like the way they blew that 2-goal lead. So I think he's just trying to change things up, give some guys an opportunity that probably wouldn't get some on the top six. But yeah, Hyman's not going to stay on that third line very long. And then, but I think, that was his reasoning was just like, listen, sometimes you just got to change things up to change things to kind of get that staleness out of there. And I think that's what we're seeing. And it worked. They played well against Utah. That was a pretty solid performance. So yeah, he's going to go back to that same lineup and hope that he can get a better result against Anaheim this time. And the Ducks are playing some pretty good hockey. That was a pretty big win for them last night in Winnipeg. So they come in here. I think they've won 3 in a row for the first time this year. So they're in a bit of a roll here, and they're starting to kind of turn a corner maybe, because this is a young team that's been rebuilding for a lot of years down there in Anaheim.
DVD is looking at Zach Hyman, and he's been in that spot next to McDavid for the better part of a few seasons here. Seeing him moved, I think, was a little bit jarring for most people to see. Is this, you say it's, Coach Nabla is saying it's getting the staleness out of this game, but is this something that possibly say, hey, Zach, we need a little bit more from you? And I know he's been putting some points up, but just on the eye test alone, it just to me it seems like Zach Hyman isn't the same, junkyard dog, making it difficult on defensive pairings with his tenacity and forecheck. Is this maybe just a little shot across the bow saying we need a little bit more from you?
Well, definitely. That could definitely be it. His finishing isn't what it was last year. It's not up to par. He's getting a lot of opportunities. He's getting a lot of chances, but he's just not finishing this year. And at first he was saying, well, I'm not getting the puck luck. But I think sometimes you just got to bear down a little bit. And I think maybe that is, the coach saying, hey, you need to bear down on these opportunities. You can't just squander some of these opportunities you're getting. You're playing with the best player in the world. You're going to get a lot of these opportunities, and you got to make the most of them. So, yeah, that could very well be saying, hey, you got to bear down on these chances. And so, it could be a sending a message, because if Hyman was going, if he was going the way he was going last year, he would still be on that line. He wouldn't have been moved down. They wouldn't have messed with it. This might be a kind of a kick in the pants that, might light a fire under him. And Hyman's probably that type of guy that he likes challenges. He takes on these challenges, and they might say, okay, we need more out of you. We need you to contribute more offensively like you did last season, especially if you're playing so many minutes with the top guys 5-on-5 and on the power play.
One of the players that's been talked about a lot, he was a healthy scratch, I think, in Anaheim, came back, and he's still stuck on the fourth line, Jeff Skinner, DVD. This is a guy that, for most of us, we know what he is. He's a one-trick pony. He's here to score goals. He's not going to score goals, in my opinion, in the bottom six. I'd like to see him get another look in the top six and give him a bit of a run. What are you seeing from Jeff Skinner? Do you think he's been better since the healthy scratch? And do you agree with me that eventually you got to find out what you have, and you have to play him in the top six?
You do, but I think what's upsetting the owners of Jeff Skinner is his work ethic. I think they want him to work a little harder. I think they want him to be a little greasier, try to get pucks. He loses a lot of puck battles. He gets pushed off the puck a lot. Yeah, you can't be just a goal scorer. You can't just say, I'm going to play on McDavid's wing, go to the front of the net and score goals. You got to do other little things as well. And I think this might be a thing they're saying, hey, we need you to kind of be a bit more tenacious on the puck. We need you to get to those tougher areas. We need you to work a little harder on both sides of the ice. You're not just here just to float and then, get 30 goals and hopefully someone signs you to a big contract next year. Like, the owners got him at a discount price because they bought him out in Buffalo with 2 years remaining. And so they were hoping that, hey, this guy, maybe we can wring 30 goals out of him playing in a top six position. But he dropped out of that top six because of just his lack of work ethic right now. And he's got to start working a little harder, and you got to earn those spots. And I think that's one of the things that Chris Knobloch wants to push, is that you're not just going to get that spot just because of who you are and what you did in the past. You have to earn that spot. There's players that are two lines, and you got to earn that spot. So I think that
DVD, we're going to reconnect. It's cutting in and out there. A little robotic, I'd say.
Sure.
So we'll get him back here as we got more questions to ask here. So we'll get DVD back to see if he can reconnect, and maybe the connection will be better. There's a good text here. It says, JJ, Zach has tweaked his back from jumping up and down with Connor sitting on his shoulders at the party, is my theory. And then T-Man says, should be 10-2 Oilers tonight. The River Cree inbox. This one says 6-2 Oilers. We are duck hunting tonight.
Oh,
so a lot of people with me. Do you agree with Gage, who thinks it's going to be a close game? It's going to be another tight affair. I mean, the Oilers weren't even close to their best in Anaheim, and two goal leads given up, right, Gager? And that's with Calvin Pickard in net. It wasn't one of his better outings, but he's been really good all year.
Well, I mean, DVD said it. This is a team that, look at the teams that they just beat. I mean, three very good hockey teams. That one of them includes the Edmonton Oilers, 3-game winning streak for the first time this season. It's a team coming in feeling really good about themselves, So it's going to be a challenge thing. I think we got DVD back here. Leon Draisaitl, I mean, we talk about him a lot, but looking at the stats that he's put up this year so far, I believe it's first in goals with 27, 20 even strength goals, 8 game winners. Do you notice, you're around the rink a lot, DVD, does Leon Draisaitl look any different this year? Is there a change? Because, I mean, on a team with Connor McDavid, and you're actually outshining him stats-wise in certain situations. Have you seen any change in him this year? Is he even more grumpy than normal?
I think he's maturing, and I think that's the big thing with Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid. And I know when these guys came in and they were kids, everyone said, can you imagine these players at 27, 28, 29 when they get into their prime? And I think they're starting to move into their prime. They're starting to they've gone from kids to men. And I think you're seeing that in Draisaitl. I think you're seeing a more maturity in him, more maturity in McDavid. And he's getting into his prime now. Like, he's super fit. He's in great shape. He's so strong. He's one of the toughest players to get the puck off. When he kind of backs into you, and he's such a strong guy. And I think we're seeing that. We're seeing those two players really in their prime. And this is something that I think a lot of fans were excited about when they were having these great seasons, when they were 22 and 23. And you say, wow, can you imagine these guys at 27, 28, 29? And we're here now. And I think that's part of the issue. And you ask him yourself, he's still kind of, the grumpy guy. He's still all business, but I think he's maturing. And I think you're seeing that maturation right in front of our eyes. He's kind of a guy that he knows what his job is, and he knows how good he is, and he works hard to get to wherever he is. And yeah, I think that's the process here. And they have blinders on. These guys want to win the Stanley Cup, and they know that there's a way to do it. They've been in those battles, and they know what it takes to win the Stanley Cup. And I think that's their focus right now. But yeah, he's playing fantastic hockey. Some of the best of his career. But it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch these guys in their prime. And that was something that we were looking forward to 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago. Wow, can't wait till these guys get in their prime and see what they can really do at this level.
Derek Van Diest joining us from NHL.com here on EST Afternoons. Switching gears to the World Juniors, Canada, disappointing loss yesterday in the quarterfinals, 4-3. The goal came with just under 40 seconds to go. The winning goal for Czechia, and it was Edmonton Oil King who scored it. What did you make of Canada's tournament, DVD? I know a lot of us talking about the coaching, the selection of players, the discipline of the team. What did you make of Canada at the World Juniors this year?
Yeah, well, the discipline was awful, and I know that they were harping on that, whether that was a penalty late in the game, whether it's not. I thought it was. He stuck his leg out and tripped the guy coming across the blue line. To me, that's a penalty, whether it's a kneeing or a tripping. I thought it was a penalty. If you look at some of the angles, the guy's going to try and step around him. He sticks the leg out, catches him in the thigh, trips him. So, but it was like, what's the old saying? Don't put yourself in a position for the referee to make a bad call. And they were just, there's no need to make a run at a guy at that situation. There's no need to run guys in different situations. They were very undisciplined and typically not, like Canada wanted to establish a physical presence, but the way they were doing it was not going to get it done. And you have to understand that this is international refereeing. They got to call things a little tighter. So yeah, I was really disappointed in the fact that even when they tied it, they tied it, they're in good shape. Just don't throw it away, and they threw it away, and obviously they're complaining about the calls and complaining about the referees, and that losers complain about the referees. The winners never complain about the referees. So they left a lot of kids that were very talented at home. They didn't take the best players. They're trying. I think they overthought this and thought, okay, we need these guys to penalty check, these guys to hit, these guys to forecheck. Take the best players, and they'll come together as a team. We've seen it time and time and time again. When you try to overthink it, you're going to get in trouble. This wasn't a very talented team. They had trouble scoring. They were terribly, it was so badly disciplined. Like, they kept talking about, we got to stop taking stupid penalties. We got to stop taking stupid penalties. And then they'd go and take stupid penalties, like needless penalties. And then they couldn't kill them off. So this team was they were, once they lost to Latvia, they were in trouble. This team should not be losing that game. They didn't look great against the Germans. And then they really got their butts kicked against the United States. So there was an uphill battle all the way. They just weren't a very talented team. And I think, you don't want to throw it all on the players because they get selected, they get thrown together. The management and the coaching has to be a lot better. And I don't understand, the coaching at all. They didn't practice. They stopped practicing. I don't know why that, what the thinking was behind that. They started canceling practices. They started, scratching guys that probably shouldn't have been scratched. It didn't look like they had a hold of anything, and nothing worked for them. And they got the just result. And I think it's a situation where I think Hockey Canada and then the selection committee has got to look and say, listen, we got to find the 23 best junior players in the world here that play for Canada, whether it's NCAA, whether it's in the Western Hockey League, the OHL, the QMJHL. And I've always had an issue where wherever they get the coach from, he's going to load up on players from that league, whether it's the OHL or Q or the WHL. And I think that's kind of an issue, is that maybe he knows them better, maybe he understands them better, but I just think you got to go out and get the best guys available. Just get the best players, put them together. And Canada has enough skill to compete with anyone in the world. And stop trying to overthink this and think that you need this guy to check and this guy to kill penalties and this guy there are some guys that didn't belong on that team that were playing significant minutes, and I think that's the result you see.
So, saying that, it sparked something in what I'm thinking. Do you think they should have, like, the coach, whoever is going to be coaching the World Junior team, should he be like independent and probably not be coaching, more like in football where you see national team coaches travel around and watch their players throughout the season and is basically part of the scouting staff, not just coaching in his league, and then, like you said, he's kind of more partial to the guys that he's in that league just because he sees them on a regular basis. Should the World Juniors next coach not have a job, so to speak, or should his full-time job just be World Juniors so he can finally just develop the proper team by going to all these different leagues and looking at the talent?
Yeah, no, that's a very good question. Like, yeah, you're right, because these coaches, they're so busy with their junior teams, and then you ask them to leave their junior teams for a month, and you put this team together, and he doesn't know the players very well. They have the scouting stuff, but I agree. If you had a guy that you hired for the year, say this is your job, you're going to be a World Junior coach. Your job is to go to the Western Hockey League and scout and look at these players and have a look at and then put the team together. I think that would work better, because you have basically this is kind of a side gig for the coach. His main concern is the team that he's coaching in the Ontario Hockey League or the Western League or wherever these guys are coaching. And then this is like, this Team Canada thing's a thing we do on the side. But then if it doesn't work out, then everyone's all over him. But I think you're right. Hockey Canada took a coach and said, okay, you're going to be our World Junior coach, but we just want you to just do that. Pay him a handsome salary. They can afford it. They can afford to pay this guy for the year. Say, this is going to be your junior team. You go out, scout the leagues, travel around the country. You got, whatever it is, the first 3 months of the season to look at players, to evaluate players, and then you select your team. I think that would work better off than a coach getting thrown in at the last minute when his number one concern is his junior team, whatever league that may be in.
DVD, great stuff as always. Enjoy the game tonight. I'm sure we'll see you soon.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Derek Van Diest from NHL.com. Good point there, Gager. I really like that, because in soccer, if you're going to coach a national team, you can't be affiliated to a club.
No.
So a lot of coaches get picked from clubs, obviously, so they have to make a choice. Do I want to leave the club because you'll run the national team for like a 4-year window until you qualify to the Euro or World Cup, right?
Yeah.
So you get a whole process, right? So that's probably the way to go, man. Because like you said, for scouting.
Well, then and it starts. So obviously Cameron's probably not going to be back, right? So if I'm Hockey Canada, I'm making a short list. You know what? I'm looking at the best possible coach too. There might be an NHL guy that's available.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough because a job might become available to them. Maybe you work it out, whatever. But I think you start now looking at the talent that will be available for next year. You start going to junior games. This goes right through to the Memorial Cup. So you've kind of got your list of guys that you're kind of looking for, right? There's the Helenka tournament, so there might be some young guys in there. But yeah, I think it should be a full-time job for a coach. And maybe it's full-time for a few years. Who knows? And that's what you do. There's the advantages of European teams a lot of the times is obviously the countries are a lot smaller, but a lot of these guys like Sweden, Finland, they've played together and played on the national team since they were little.
Yeah.
They've grown. It's a little bit different than here in Canada, where you'll have West and East, and then Ontario and Quebec and the Maritimes. So, but in those countries, it's all, and even in the U.S., like it's it's all over now. I'd say it's grown obviously, but the northeastern section of the U.S. is, I think, a lot more hockey players come out of there. And again, they're all at the same academies and things moving forward. So the familiarity of playing with one another, maybe something to think about.
Yeah, and
I gotta type up the resume.
I like that because then there is a bias if you're coaching in the OHL,
for sure.
Like I was talking to my buddy Cheese the other day. We were talking about Canada, and there's some players that are selected because they're in the OHL.
Yeah,
right. They're good players. Don't get me wrong, but and you left a lot of talent off. So I kind of like that idea because that way you can go to every league, you can scout the best Canadian players, and then, like you said, you sign a 3-year contract. It's your team.
Yeah.
But it's all you do is scout and then coach the team and move forward. Well,
you go down and look at the NCAA too, and these guys don't have time. These coaches don't have time to see these players just to.
So in fairness, he might be biased because he sees these guys more, right? So he's like, hey, I know this guy. He's going to play on my team because they don't have a lot of time to scout, right? They're just going off what other people are telling them and stuff like that. I like that.
Me too.
Calvin says Jay Woodcroft. McDiesel says Jay Woodcroft posed after winning with Canada would be fire. Yeah, it'd be great.
Who coaching Canada?
Jay Woodcroft.
Yeah, that's the name that came to me right away. It's like, and partially because maybe I thought about this. Remember the last World Tournament with the North American team, and Todd McClellan was coaching it, and he just said, "I'm just letting these guys run." So I think there's something to that, man.
All right. That's the first hour. Big shout out to Derek Van Diest for joining us as we talked World Juniors. Lots of Oilers. In hour 2, we'll continue the hockey talk. We're also going to switch gears as Lee Hacksaw Hamilton will join us at 2:20 to go around the NFL. Some big games here. Still some playoff spots left up for grabs as we head into the last week of the NFL regular season, and the playoffs are going to be absolutely awesome. 53 thumbs up. Keep hammering that thumbs up. Let's get to 100 on this Friday. And just a reminder, Oil Stream pregame show for Oilers Ducks with Tom Gazzola gets going at 6 following 3 hours with Reed Wilkins and Jay Milne. Hour 2 coming up next here on EST Afternoons. We're back after the break.
Get to know the winners, props, plays, parlays, and more with Nielsen and Hustler. Weekday mornings at 11 on The Lock Shop. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Celebrating 70 years in the signage industry, William Huff Advertising is the most recognized name in the game. An in-house, one-stop shop for all of your design, print, and installation needs. William Huff provides quality graphic solutions for everyone. Here in our City of Champions and throughout the nation, they are the preferred signage partner entrusted by many of the biggest corporations, pro sports teams, and organizations to bring their identity to life. Recognize the name, get in the game. WilliamHuff.com.
Looking for a winning strategy for your retirement? Contact me, Joaquin Gage at K4 Financial, where expertise meets dedication. I will always look for a careful approach to your retirement, ensuring your financial future is secure. From tailored strategies to clear, actionable advice, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Don't leave your future to chance. Get in touch with me, Joaquin Gage, today at k4financial.ca or email joaquin.gage@k4financial.ca to start planning for a brighter future and a more secure retirement.
Your home for live music and great performances is the River Cree Resort and Casino.
When I'm up, I can't get down, can't get down, can't get level.
Don't miss Canadian singer-songwriter Alan Doyle as he brings the East to the West, January 17th.
I said, hey, hey, it's just an ordinary day, and it's on your state of mind.
Get your tickets at River Cree Resort and Casino. River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement, bet on it.
The Oilers are back at it against the Ducks at 7, seeing Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas live for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show at 6, right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Around the league, Ottawa plays St. Louis, Nashville meets Vancouver, and the Blackhawks face the Canadiens, with the Canucks missing Thatcher Demko due to back spasms, having Artur Shilovs being recalled from the AHL in response. And on the field, Aaron Jones has been activated by Minnesota. The Titans name Will Levis as this week's starter, and Spencer Rattler gets the call for the Saints, having Derek Carr out week to week. In basketball, Toronto hosts Orlando. The Grizzlies meet the Kings, and the Hawks play the Lakers, with 9 games in the NBA. Hernan Salas and Joaquin Gage continue EST Afternoons right now. I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up to date.
Welcome back to EST Afternoons, Hour 2 here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Hit us up on the Nasty Chat if you like to watch us. It's EST on YouTube. And text us on the River Cree inbox. That's 780-218-9999. The afternoon inbox is presented by the River Cree Resort and Casino, home of Tap 25 Restaurant, where the entire menu is 50% off 7 days a week from 2 to 5 p.m. We're coming to you live from the William Huff Studios here in the west end of the city. Coming up, Lee Hacksaw Hamilton will talk all things NFL. We might dip into some college ball as well as everybody, and especially Maddie and Jay were really into the games yesterday. And I think they both had Georgia on a little bet, and that didn't go their way, so that's too bad. Taco on the River Korean box says, everyone is complaining about the penalties, but trying to hit the defender in open ice at the blue line was a dumb move. It was a pointless hit. This loss saved us from being embarrassed by the U.S. Every aspect of this team was not good. It is arguably the worst team that Canada has ever iced. He adds, Canada only scored 13 goals. This was only one more goal than Germany and Switzerland. Woof. This team had no chance of winning this tournament. Yeah, they struggled scoring. And what's crazy is that yesterday was the first time they gave up a 5-on-5 goal.
Yeah. It happens. Yeah, but 2 years in a row, it's kind of. Usually you make the bounce back, but you know that things are going to be changed. And once, Hockey Canada, obviously they're listening and start doing what we tell them to do, buddy.
Listen to Gager. Hire him. Well, you can't because you have to do the show.
Yeah. No, I can't do it.
Rip City Step says, great first hour. Thanks. I'm glad someone thought so. The best part of my day is watching the guys do their video for the Reed Wilkins show.
I know. Very creative.
Very, very creative. And I played another game with Tecmo. I lost again. So the season's going to start up soon.
Who'd you lose to?
Maddie. I think I'm going to
again?
I think I'm going to take the year off and just train.
What?
Study the playbook, study the players, and because losing is not fun, Gager. I don't win a lot at Tecmo, so I might just take some time off, practice, play some exhibition games here and there. So
you're not going to play in the season?
So it might be a 3-man league.
What are you doing?
Well, I can't win. No matter what I do.
Ugh.
I can play brilliant and I'll still lose.
Come on.
And then Maddie chirps and sends it in the group chat.
He's already in your kitchen. You can't let him do that.
He is.
Just be better. Watch more Rocky movies. I got home and I watched that Rocky 4.
I saw them all on
it was great.
Wednesday.
Watch the training and just get into it. Go into semi-seclusion. Up north somewhere, just go, I don't know, go to Mornville and go play.
Just run outside in the snow?
No, go to an arcade in Mornville and play the game. I don't want you to freeze.
Carry some logs.
Carry some logs, yeah.
Maddie says, don't feel bad, I'm the champ for a reason. He's claiming his championship from like 4 years ago. You can't do that.
Yeah, he's also claiming he's third in the Constructors' Championship that everyone talks about. Oh, who finished third?
Yeah, who cares?
Who cares?
Have you ever tried, because I know you like your fantasy league on F1, have you ever tried Fantrax for F1?
Fantrax? No.
It's an app, so it's a lot easier, and it's pretty cool because a buddy showed me it. I didn't really look at it too much, but it looks a lot easier, and it might be something you might want to plan for next year. And it might be easier for the guys to keep track because it's just an app on your phone, and you don't have to log in and do all that stuff, right?
Yeah, well, I'll look into that, buddy. Thanks.
Yeah, so we can have another fun. I'll be all in this one. I'm not just gonna quit halfway through and give you the championship.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I'll have to reach out and see who's really wants to be in it. Because I like when Eric's in it, but he doesn't really. I don't know if he really wants to be in it.
Yeah.
So and Dusty, Dusty's got a lot on his plate,
and he's in 1,000 leagues.
He's in 1,000 leagues and stuff, and I don't get me wrong, I like giving it to him when he crows about his certain pools that he's winning, and then I show him his results in F1, and they're just abysmal. But no, hopefully it grows. We'll get the young kids in there too. I think Reed might even. He's shown some interest.
Interest, yeah. So why not?
We'll
you should put money on it. That'll make people pay attention.
It does always make
It's like
people-
$20 each. Say there's 10 of us. That's still a good pot.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and winner take all. None of this participation crap.
So would you combine constructors and drivers?
Maybe we split the pot.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, right?
Yeah.
Because so the book I read says constructors is more valuable.
Because
Yeah.
It's what did they say? Like it's like millions. I don't know the exact. I should look up the exact amount for constructors, but it's
a lot.
It's a lot.
Van Owen says, Gager, I'm your Huckleberry. Van Owen's one of our main nasties, and he's a big F1 guy. You can tell because every time we talk F1, he chimes in, and it seems like he knows what he's talking about a lot more than I do. At least you're an expert. This one's then Maddie says, remain as champ until beaten. Oh God, I can't wait till Dusty comes back and just puts him in his place.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the watching Maddie play it, it's an emotional roller coaster too because he's up, he's down. I just don't think. He's going to be a mess by the end of the season. There won't be anything left.
He's calm, though. Calm, cool.
No, he's not.
Duck Dad says, we run a lot of EST Discord pools on Fantrax, planning MLB soonish. Yeah, the Fantrax, our NHL one with my buddies is on there, and it's really awesome to use, Gager. So it's something we can look at as we get closer to the season. Barry the Cheater says, Maddie is humble. Ha, ha, ha. And then... this one says, Bronco Nick, I want Rocky's leather jacket from when he trained in Russia, but my body will not do it justice. Maybe next winter. Yeah, that's a solid jacket.
That is a solid jacket, yeah. It looks like he's wearing little Lulu pants, too, with that thing.
Yeah, that's awesome training, though.
Yeah.
Right?
No pain.
No pain.
No pain.
When because his trainer's just sitting there and they're like hitting him and like he's doing these sit up.
I mean, they are I remember when they had that fight because it was the old arena beside the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver, and it was that's where the Vancouver Voodoo, the roller hockey team, played. Anyway, the story was that because Stallone wanted it to look real as possible, and Dolph Lundgren was a world champion kickboxer at the time, right? And so you can see the way he punches and stuff, like he's a polished fighter.
Yeah,
And Sylvester Stallone said, well, you hit me in the body to make it look real. And he goes, you're sure? And he goes, okay. And Stallone had to go to the hospital because he had like 2 or 3 broken ribs. It was the front page of the Province the next day, I remember, because he was all beaten up. But, I mean, that movie was so great. That's one of my favorite Rockies. First one, it's hard not to like 3 with Mr. T. But the 4th with the Mad Russian was great.
Yeah,
it was really a sweet.
Yeah, the best part about 3 is when he's fighting Mr. T in the second fight at the end, and he's like, "You ain't so bad."
Oh yeah, you ain't so bad.
I guess he's so confident. He's just taking shots, and it's just
or the interview before. What do you predict for this fight? And the Mr. T kind of the slow lean into the camera. Pain.
I love it. Maddie chimes in again. Yeah, because Dusty will put me in my place. 2 straight championships, including taking down Dusty in both. I think he took me down in one, so he's mistaken in that. I beat Dusty to go to the final, and I lost to Iwanek.
Just go on YouTube. Find those just catastrophes on there. That's all they do.
Yeah.
And just listen to them. And just start building up a playbook. All right?
Yeah, and I think we want to connect it to the TV and then stream live on Twitch. Our games.
Oh, my God.
And we could even do the track and field. I'm sure people would love to watch that.
Oh, I'm sure they'd love it.
We got a new phone stand, too, to try and record other things. So maybe another kind of angle of it where you see, like, you can kind of change the angle and get it from a different perspective, or maybe in close, kind of tight. Or see the stance, because some people get the wide stance or they got the narrow stance when they're on the track and field, or even, of course, Tecmo.
Yeah.
So like either or, right?
We need post-game interviews, though.
Yeah,
I think.
that'd be great.
That'd be good.
That would get heated.
You think Leon's pissy.
Yeah.
Wait till you get a load of Maddie.
Barry the Cheater says, I need a montage of Latino Heat training at Tecmo. Oh, can you imagine it,
You have to be in the league. That's enough. You represent 1 to 3, baby. You can't take that year off.
I said a season. Because the season usually lasts about a couple months. Not that long.
Stop it.
Depending on how much we play during the season. And I know Dusty's itching to get back. Not because he wants to host his show, because he wants to play some Tecmo.
Really?
I think so.
He's probably at the top of the mountains in Cranbrook. That's what Dusty did.
Yeah, he went training.
Yeah.
He's getting back. He's back to 150%.
He's at the top of the mountain right now going, Matty! 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 He's got pictures of Matty in the bathroom. And Tam's like, why do you have pictures of everyone from EST on the... He goes, no, that's my competition.
If I lose to Uke, I'm out. Because me and Uke are probably Dusty's the best, then Matty, and then it's
Matty's yelling. You can't hear it. It is.
Oh boy!
See,
15.
This is what you got to do.
Yeah.
See, just a little lob in there, and look.
I know.
All pissy.
59 thumbs up. We're 41 away from 100. We got about 40 minutes to go. Let's slam it. If you haven't hit the thumbs up, please do so. Oh boy! Jeez!
Oh my God!
Oh boy!
Respect the championship. Ooh, you suck.
And subscribe. And then Monday we're gonna get down to this pickled herring controversy.
Are we?
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's going to be full go Monday. Everybody's back in the shops. Great to see Lieutenant Eric back, who told me today he's going out for a nice dinner. So a
is
bit
he?
Jealous. Yeah.
Where's he going?
The Keg.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You like the Keg? Who doesn't?
Well, I don't.
What?
No.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't. I hate going to and paying $60 for a steak that I know I could have made better. I hate it.
Okay. Well, we're gonna have to. Then let's go. Next time I want to go to the Keg, I'm just gonna go to your house. You're gonna build some You're gonna make us some steaks, and we'll see if it compares to good old the Keg. The Keg's nice.
I went to Safeway yesterday.
Yeah.
Just because my daughter wasn't feeling well, and I had to get some soup and stuff. And you go by, they had nice little steak strips, or they were sirloins. They were $20.
Wow.
For 3.
Well, that's not
good,
bad.
Decent size too. I haven't seen meat that cheap for a long time. I had to pull the trigger on that. I went before that stuff. 3 of them were like $72.
Double A says, amen, Gage. All right, we got to get to a break as we're going to be welcomed from Lee Hacksaw Hamilton, of course, longtime NFL reporter. Also, you can find his work at leehacksawhamilton.com. We'll go around the NFL next here on EST Afternoons. Joaquin Gage, Hernan Salas. Keep slamming that thumbs up. Let's get to 100. But first up, a break in a sports update with our own Zach Kubish.
The Oilers seek revenge over the Ducks with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas previewing the game on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show at 6 o'clock right here on EST. And 4 other games include the Canadiens facing the Blackhawks, the Senators battling the Blues, while Vancouver plays Nashville, having the Canucks recall Artur Shilovs from the AHL with Thatcher Demko out due to back spasms. And the NFL sees Aaron Jones returning for the Vikings, Will Levis starting for the Titans, and Spencer Rattler getting the call for the Saints as Derek Carr gets listed as week to week. While on the court, the Raptors take on the Magic, having 9 games in the association. This sports update is brought to you by the Capital Care Foundation. Financial support deeply affects residents at Capital Care, and whether it's a one-time donation or a monthly contribution, every penny counts. Donate today to the Capital Care Foundation. Find them at capitalcarefoundation.net. Lee Hacksaw Hamilton talks some NFL on the other side of the break. Here on EST Afternoons, I'm Zachary Kubish for your sports update.
Get all the latest news and takes on everything Oilers with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola on the Oil Stream. Live at noon, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Hockey lives at the Canadian Brewhouse. Every Oilers game day, get $1 off tankards of Molson Canadian and Coors Light. Plus, you can win game tickets and a surf and turf dinner for 2 at the end of the season. Full details at thecanadianbrewhouse.com.
Your brand deserves more than just a whisper, it deserves a buzz. At the Hive Product Marketing, they specialize in promotional products that bring the buzz. From eye-catching giveaways to unforgettable keepsakes, they got the perfect products to make your brand stand out and get noticed. Visit the Hive Product Marketing and let them create the buzz your business deserves. The Hive Product Marketing, the official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk. Visit them online at thehiveproductmarketing.com.
In life, it takes a village. From childhood to your golden years, we all need support. At Capital Care Foundation, we've built that village for our 2,100 seniors. Join us in creating a nurturing environment that feels like home and fosters community connections. Your donation makes a difference. Visit capitalcarefoundation.net today and become a vital part of our village. Because together, we can make every stage of life a shared journey. Be a part of the journey. Support Capital Care Foundation.
It's 2:23. Welcome back to EST Afternoons. Just waiting to connect with Lee Hacksaw Hamilton to talk some NFL. This is EST Afternoons on Edmonton Sports Talk. Hit us up on the Nasty Chat on the EST YouTube channel or on the River Cree inbox. The afternoon inbox is presented by the River Cree Resort and Casino, home of Tap 25 restaurant, where the entire menu is 50% off 7 days a week from 2 to 5 p.m. Some good text coming in here. Bronco Nick says Dosk has good steaks. I like Dosk, but I don't think I've.
Where's Dosk?
104th, right by Kelly's, the corner.
I don't.
Well, you've never been to Kelly's,
No.
right?
Shoot, you know what I heard? That there's a place in Alberta. Is it by Brooks? It's like a old kind of saloon place, and it has great steaks, and it's like cowboy themed. Like you got to drive a ways to it. I heard it's unbelievable, and their reservations in the summer are jammed.
Yeah,
it's like an hour and a half outside of town.
I heard there's one downtown called Range, RR Range or something like that. It seems. Sorry, Zach's just sending me a message here. This is how we communicate. Just give me a sec here. I gotta. Yeah.
Steakhouse outside of Edmonton, and I don't know if anyone's ever been there. Shoot, it's gonna take me forever to find this thing, but I'll try to find it because I've heard this is it's something special. Tommy Salo and I we always used to hit either Ruth's Chris or Morton's Steakhouse on the road.
See, I've never been to Ruth Chris, but there's this Range one. I got to find the name. It's downtown. I heard it's just unreal. But I did, where is this one? Rip City Step says, Mr. Gage has been correct about everything, all episode. An amazing run. Well,
I'm on a roll.
It's Mr. Positivity. That's why. Surveyor Brett says steak in this economy. Jasmine says Range Roll. That's what it's called. I heard it's awesome. We had a gentleman on pregame, and Tommy was like, "Did you get to go out and enjoy Edmonton?"
Yeah.
He goes, "Yeah, I went to Range Roll," and he goes, "It's the best steak I've had in his life." Yeah, so
all right.
And he was an American guy, so I think we're good to go with Lee Hacksaw Hamilton here on EST Afternoons as we dive into the final week of the NFL season. Lee, Happy New Year! How you doing, my friend?
Happy holidays. How things in a great white north?
It's about minus 25 right now here in Edmonton, so it's a little cold. Yeah.
I don't do Celsius Fahrenheit comparison, so one of you smart guys can tell me what the temperature would be in my language.
It's pretty close. It kind of evens out, I think, at minus 36 there, Lee. But I'll look this up and let you know.
Yeah, well,
long division carry the one, by the way.
Hey, Lee, it's a big week in the NFL. Still some spots up for grabs in the playoff picture. There's an excellent game upcoming between the Vikings and Lions for the division. You got the Broncos and Chiefs, the Bengals and Steelers. You need Atlanta to win. You need the Bucs to lose. It's just going to be an exciting weekend of games, especially for the team still fighting for a spot, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge weekend. I mean, we know who the elite teams are. The question is, who's going to wind up getting a wild card slot staff to go play these elite teams? I was trying to do the calculus, and I'm not real good in calculus either, about what the wild card matchups would look like, and it's bizarre. I mean, the NFC matchups are going to be fascinating. The AFC matchups, these guys in the wild card slots, one of them is going to have to go to Buffalo, and one of them is going to have to go to Baltimore. How brutal is that? To fight your way into the playoffs and then have to get on a plane and go play Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson in their yard. So this is going to be fun. Obviously, the whole conversation is what's going on in the NFC North, the black and blue division. What a matchup. 14-2 Detroit, 14-2 Minnesota. Quarterbacks having illustrious years, quarterbacks and their coaches' relationships. Really great storyline. Two just rugged defenses. It's been a hell of a game between the Lions and the Minnesota Vikings. I think, in all honesty, everybody's kind of surprised Minnesota's there. But the job that Kevin O'Connell, that coach, has done with that reject quarterback Sam Darnold is absolutely fascinating. And they've really put good people around him. I mean, Sam Darnold, reclamation project from the Jets and the 49ers, he's thrown 35 touchdown passes. And, you know, he walked in the door having to start because of the J.J. McCarthy injury. And he's throwing the ball to Addison. He's throwing the ball to Jefferson. He's got the big power runner who came from Green Bay and Aaron Jones. He's got tight ends they throw to. And by the way, lost in all the conversation, their defense gets after it. Minnesota, that's a complete football team that Kevin O'Connell's got. And of course, everybody knows what Detroit is. I think some people a little bit surprised, Detroit is still breathing. They've lost so many people on defense. They lost 6 defensive linemen. They lost 4 linebackers. They're getting 1 of the linebackers back this weekend. They lost Carlton Davis and 2 cornerbacks, and yet they're hanging tough. They're hanging tough because Jared Goff has thrown 36 touchdown passes and 4,400 yards this season. So, I mean, all signs point to a shootout. And here's the weirdest part of the conversation. By the time we get to Sunday night at 10 o'clock, when that Sunday night game is over, somebody who's going to be 14-3 is have to go on the road and be a wild card team. Think about that.
Wow.
Lee, it's always a fun time of year. Well, not for some coaches. Black Monday is fast approaching us, and these guys do not pass go. They might collect $200, but their season's over. What next jobs are most enticing to maybe some of the top candidates for next year, do you think? And who's on the hot seat, and who do you think's out the door come Monday?
Joaquin, there are 3 jobs open right now. By Monday night or breakfast on Tuesday, there could be 4 more. There'd be 7 coaching openings. Let's just kind of walk through the hot spots. Normally in the NFL, when a coach gets fired and they clean the staff out, place resembles 3 Mile Island. There's nobody left. There's nothing on the roster. But this is an exception to the rule in Chicago, which might have the best coaching situation because you got Caleb Williams, the young quarterback, who I think's got phenomenal upside talent. He needs more people around him, but I think this guy's got gifts. So you got the Bears job that's open. Some people of the opinion Ben Johnson, the hot coordinator from the Detroit Lions, becomes the guy to go to Chicago. But, you know, Chicago's tried other coordinators and it's blown up in their face. The other name that's being mentioned is Pete Carroll. And that guy's got an unbelievable track record. And he did it with young quarterbacks. He did it with veteran quarterbacks. He did it in Seattle. Prior to that, unbelievable success at the University of Southern California. So I would say Ben Johnson, Pete Carroll, one of them is going to wind up in Chicago. Jets' job is open, and they're looking for a guy that's going to rebuild the culture, bring toughness. And that's why in the last 48 hours, guys, they've interviewed Mike Vrabel, the ex-Tennessee coach, and they interviewed Ron Rivera, who did really good work in Washington and prior to that with Carolina. I think one of those 2 guys winds up there. The weird one is New Orleans. Now, they jettisoned Dennis Allen really early in the season, so they've kind of limped through the season in an interim scenario. Saints do have Derek Carr. Saints have got a lot of gifted skill guys, but they've just been beset by injuries, the Camaras, the Thomases of the world. The interesting name is Minnesota's defensive coordinator, Brian Flores, but he's suing the league for racial discrimination. Now, I don't know that would block him from getting hired in New Orleans. He's not going to drop the lawsuit. I know that for a fact. The other name, and this just came out of nowhere this week, John Gruden wants to return to coaching.
Yeah.
And we know we know John Gruden Tampa. We know John Gruden Raiders. We know John Gruden lawsuit against Roger Goodell over the leaked emails while Gruden was at ESPN. But he wants to coach, and he's got a strong relationship with Derek Carr. So New Orleans might be getting a guy who's got a lawsuit against the league or against the commissioner. That might be their head coach. So those are the three that are open. Now, what's going to happen Monday, Black Monday at breakfast time? You got the Raiders, Antonio Pierce. Not a lot of success the last 2 years. The unique aspect to the Raiders storyline is that Tom Brady is a consultant now and part owner to Mark Davis. And he's going to carry clout in the evaluation of Antonio Pierce, and then he'll carry clout as to how they're going to solve the quarterback mess in Las Vegas. So I would think Antonio Pierce could be ejected from there. It just depends what kind of input Brady's going to have with the ownership. Another one has to be Jacksonville. Now, that owner, Shad Khan, does not have a history of hitting the eject button on people. But Jacksonville has just had two substandard seasons in a row, and they were wrecked by injuries, and their defense fell apart, and then the quarterback kept getting hurt. I think that Doug Peterson is going to get booted, but at this point, there's also a sentiment. Florida Times Union columnist wrote today that maybe Peterson stays and the general manager, Trent Baalke, goes. So Jacksonville might make a change. I think the Giants have to make a change. They're in the Big Apple, and this is just miserable. The mistakes they made on the Saquon Barkley relationship, the mistake on the contract of Daniel Jones, how they ate the contract and he's gone. They just don't have a heck of a lot of talent there. So keep that in the equation that one guy might be leaving. It might be the GM, Joe Shane, or maybe it's Brian Daboll, the coach, or maybe it's both, although the Mara family doesn't have a history of chopping heads off. So now you got the Giants situation. And then the other one that's strange is New England. I think Robert Kraft is really emotionally torn over Jared Mayo. Mayo was a longtime linebacker under Belichick. He was kind of handpicked before Belichick ever left that when you leave, this guy will succeed you. But boy, they've been miserable. Their game management's been terrible. The roster is a disaster. Outside of Drake May, I dare you. I double dare you two guys in Edmonton. Just pull up the New England depth chart and see if you can find me any playmakers on that roster outside of the quarterback, Drake May. And that's all the byproduct of Belichick and the mess he left behind. A lot of people don't know this. New England is 31-53 since Tom Brady left New England to go to Tampa Bay, and Belichick's got a lot of that dirt under his fingernails. So those are the jobs that are open. And then there's a weird story that just broke in the last 48 hours here on the West Coast. The 49ers have had a wretched season with injuries. They're finishing 6-10. Second year in a row, it's kind of ended really badly. And some of the national media are writing that maybe the relationship John Lynch to Kyle Shanahan doesn't work. But Jed York, the owner, just stood up yesterday and said, this is garbage. We're not getting rid of Kyle Shanahan. And these teams that are calling us who are offering a first-round draft pick to get the right to hire Kyle Shanahan, he's not on the trade block. The coach is not going to be traded. So San Francisco's got to get healthy more than anything, but it's not going to be a change there. So that's a summary of where we are. By Black Monday night, I think we could have 7 openings in the league.
Lee Hacksaw Hamilton joining us here on EST Afternoons. You can find his work at leehacksawhamilton.com. Lee, storylines off the field. You brought up the 49ers. Let's start on the West Coast. I mean, our change is coming, probably more on the field. They had a terrible season. I'm a Niners fan, so we had a 49ers guest on a few weeks ago, and he said as soon as the Super Bowl was lost, the 49ers season turned into turmoil, just from holdouts and injuries and all of that. And then you look at the Raiders as well, just full of failure. What do you make of these two teams out in the West Coast and changes coming to these squads?
Joaquin, is that true? During a break, you turned to Hernan when you found out he was a 49ers fan and said, sucks to be you? Did you see that?
Yeah, I passed him the note.
San Francisco's just been ravaged by injuries, but San Francisco's got chemistry problems. And John Lynch, after the Monday night loss to Detroit, John Lynch, or maybe it was a Sunday night loss last weekend, said, there will be changes, and there will be changes quickly. And he's making reference to the roster.
Yeah.
They're paying an awful lot of money. They got too many, quote, divas at wide receiver on that roster. Maybe Deebo Samuel's going to be gone. Maybe Brandon Ayuk's going to be gone because those guys are making a lot of bank, and those guys held out. Those guys haven't performed and earned their money. I mean, outside of George Kittle, do you please tell me who is helping that quarterback Brock Purdy at all. So I think there's going to be some personality changes on that 49ers roster. The Raiders situation it's mind-boggling. Get this, and I know there's Raider Nation people everywhere. They're all wearing the Raider gear.
Yes.
And either they're drunk or numb, or they're just not paying attention, or maybe they're stupid. You know, they like to call themselves the Silver and Black, and I've referred to them on my sports talk shows and on my podcast as the Silver and Bleak. They've had two winning seasons in 22 years. Two. You know, Mark Davis, you're not your dad. And Al Davis, at the end of his run, that was a miserable franchise, and the league would not let them move to Los Angeles because they're such a bad business operation. That's why they wound up in Vegas, and they were gifted the stadium. But look at the roster. No quarterback. Let the running back go to Green Bay. Traded the star wide receiver. Outside of the unbelievable rookie Brock Bowers, they're just devoid of any skill talent on the offense. And by the way, our offensive front isn't very good either. They've had a lot of injuries on defense. So if they make a change, there's going to be a lot of work that has to be done. But I just love to poke the Raider fans. You know, you're having a lousy season. A week ago, you were in the running to get pick 1 or pick 2, which meant you get Shedeur Sanders or maybe you get Cam Ward at quarterback. And the Raiders go out and win 2 meaningless games. And now they go to the final weekend of the season. They're going to play the Chargers and probably get bashed. They go to the final weekend of the season, and they're picking 10th. Yeah. And so there's no way to get a quarterback. There's no solution there when they had solution 1 or solution 2, but yet they had to go out and win 2 meaningless games. So they're just an absolute mess. And Antonio Pierce talks a good game, but boy, last year and then this year is even worse. Just not a good franchise. And in the big picture of things, as I said, I went back and configured a record. The Raiders are more than 100 games under 500 since 2003, since their last appearance in the Super Bowl. They're under 100 games. That's 2 winning seasons in 22 years. So that's a long answer to what's gone on in the Bay Area. There will be changes in Frisco. Obviously, there have to be changes in Vegas with the Raiders, and I don't know whether it starts with coach, whether it goes to the general manager, and maybe they take the high draft pick and they swap it down and try to stockpile picks. They need players. They need lots of players.
Lee, this is great. Our fans are loving this. Where can people get your stuff and find out where to find you online and things like that?
Well,
one more thing.
Go ahead.
Also, after you give us all that information, I'd like to know what you think of Barkley sitting out last game and not being able to maybe challenge for that Eric Dickerson record to see if he can break it.
I'll answer that question first, and then the other one. Tough call for Philadelphia. Tough call in Kansas City. You know, they're sitting Mahomes, probably Kelsey. They're sitting Pacheco. Tough call for the Rams. Even though they're in first place, they're sitting Stafford and both the wide receivers, Kupp and Nakua. You know, extra week at this late in the season, extra week's rest really helps your guys. Mm-hmm. The other thing is you'd hate to play a star and have him get dinged.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, when you're like Saquon Barkley, when you have a chance to etch your name into the history books of the NFL, you only walk down this road once.
Mm-hmm.
And he might have wanted to play, but I think he's toeing the company line. He's knew what Nick Sirianni wants and let him sit. But man, to have the chance to become the all-time leading rusher and, bust through 2,200 yards as a running back, we'll never, ever see that again. So it would be great to have his name in the history record book. But the most important thing is, pal, they got a wild card game next week. You'd hate to have him twist an ankle or get dinged or get hurt, because that changes the whole chemistry of their offense. So it's a tough call. It's probably the right call. But, boy, what a mystical season that person has had. Now, I've always thought he was a great player, and he was in just a bad situation with the Giants and all the rugged problems they had, offensive at quarterback, offensive line, pass blocking, lack of run blocking. He put him behind a good team. Philadelphia may have the best offensive line in modern-day NFL football. Holy cow, look what he got. And he had the chance to get to 2,200 yards. So great football player. In terms of my website, I write on it every day. You can agree or disagree. I don't give a damn. Just read what I write because it's pretty cool. It's pretty different. There's a volume of information. And yeah, I might be on this side of the border crossing, but guys, I do write a lot about the NHL on top of NFL, Major League Baseball, basketball, etc. So if you check my website every morning, LeeHacksawHamilton.com, it's all written. And like you guys, I'm on the YouTube channel, Lee Hacksaw Hamilton Sports. I do a couple podcasts a week, and I cover the universe. We talk about, obviously, some West Coast stuff, but we do talk about national stories. And by the way, because I came out of a hockey background, and I broadcasted the old Edmonton Gardens, and I was the first one in a broadcast of the Northlands Coliseum when I was in the World Hockey Association.
Wow.
I do cover hockey because I know up there in the Great White North, puck is the only thing that counts.
And Lee, it's minus 13 Fahrenheit here right now. So just so you have an idea of how cold it is here right now. Lee, great stuff.
I knew you figured that out because you had your cell phone and you were doing this. Because I know you can't carry the one and do long division. You're like me.
Lee, great stuff as always. I enjoy the games this weekend, and I'm sure we'll be chatting here in the next couple of weeks or so. Thank you so much, Lee.
Joaquin Hernan, great to talk to you. We'll chat with you again. Hello to everybody in the Great White North. Check out my stuff this side of the border crossing. Talk to you again.
That's Lee Hacksaw Hamilton. You can find his work at LeeHacksawHamilton.com. A longtime reporter there for the Chargers as well. Just great. Every time he's on, it's just better and better and better. It's just great. Fantastic.
It's awesome. I love his insight to the Black Monday things is crazy too. The 7 jobs.
It's gonna be busy. Busy Monday.
Yeah.
Busy Monday. And I like I agree with them. 49ers they have too many divas on this team that are too worried about how they look. You know, it's all about them. So it's time to move on from a few of the divas on the 49ers. We welcome the Hustlerites, the Winnipeggers, the WSTers to the show as well, like always, and a lot of steak talk on the Nasty Chat right
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Jasmine did say, Gager, the steak place you speak of is called Bruce Hotel. Did I get it right?
I hate to give her any credit, but I think she's right.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it's the Bruce Hotel. Yeah, it is. And it's kind of authentic, like old Western thing. And I think from what I hear, it's hard to get a reservation. And it's like an hour outside of town in Bruce, Alberta.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. All right, we're going to wrap up EST Afternoons, get you ready for the Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne from 3 to 6. And, of course, at 6, Tom Gazzola has the all-stream pregame show as the Oilers take on the Ducks. That's all coming up here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Portions of this hour brought to you by the Canadian Brewhouse. NHL lives at the Canadian Brewhouse. Every Oilers game day, get $1 off tankards of Molson Canadian and Coors Light. And you can win game tickets and 2 tickets to a surf and turf dinner at the end of the season. Full details at thecanadianbrewhouse.com. We wrap up EST Afternoons next, but first up, a sports update with Zach.
It's Oilers Ducks with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show live with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas just an hour before puck drop right here on EST. And there's 4 other games, including the Panthers battling the Pens, the Canucks facing the Predators, with Artur Shilovs being recalled from the AHL in response to Thatcher Demko getting sidelined due to back spasms. Down south, Jalen Hurts is out this week for the Eagles. The Vikings have activated Aaron Jones, while the Saints named Spencer Rattler as the starter against the Buccaneers. In basketball, Toronto throws it down with Orlando, and the Cavs play the Mavericks, while the Knicks face the Thunder, seeing 9 games around the association. The final segment of EST Afternoons rounds out on the other side of the break. I'm Zachary Kubish, keeping you in the loop.
Your home for live music and great performances is the River Cree Resort and Casino.
When I'm up, I can't get down, can't get down, can't get level.
Don't miss Canadian singer-songwriter Alan Doyle as he brings the East to the West, January 17th.
I said, hey, it's just an ordinary day. and it's on your state of mind.
Get your tickets at River Cree Resort and Casino. River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement, bet on it.
Celebrating 70 years in the signage industry, William Huff Advertising is the most recognized name in the game. An in-house, one-stop shop for all of your design, print, and installation needs. William Huff provides quality graphic solutions for everyone. Here in our City of Champions and throughout the nation, they are the preferred signage partner entrusted by many of the biggest corporations, pro sports teams, and organizations to bring their identity to life. Recognize the name, get in the game. WilliamHuff.com.
You want the heavy hitters on your team, both on and off the ice. If you've been injured in a car accident, call the heavy hitters of injury law. James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. With over 200 years of combined injury law experience, their precedent-setting lawyers are ready to help. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oilers fans, James H. Brown and Associates wants to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
Make a fresh start in the new year with Sentinel Storage. With convenient locations near you, Sentinel Storage is here to help you make space for everything 2024 holds. Sentinel Storage. Shop Canadian, store Canadian. Try 4 weeks free. Visit sentinelstorage.ca.
Welcome back to EST Afternoon as we close out the week. Next week, it's all back to normal, Gager.
Is it?
That means a lot of good times upcoming. The return of our fearless leader, Dustin Nielsen. Oh, God, I hope he plays Maddie in a game.
Fearless? He won't even eat pickled hair.
You should want this.
Want what?
You want some? It's like you're the little picked on kid in the schoolyard. I hope he gets his own by this other guy. You should want to be beating Maddie's butt.
No, I can't right now.
I don't like this attitude.
Range Road is the restaurant I was talking about downtown. I gotta
Road?
check it out. Yeah, and that's thanks to Jasmine as well.
This Fan Tracks doesn't have F1.
Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't. It has NASCAR.
Let me double look. Let me double check that. Double look. What else do we got here? Jasmine says, "Take that, Gager."
Oh, Jasmine, I gave you credit. Don't gloat like Maddie. Your millennialism is showing.
Oh boy, I find it funny that guy's still gloating about a league that was like 4 years ago.
I know.
Yeah, see.
Well, okay, it's not on the app.
Should be.
Maybe I have to sign
Maybe
in.
it's not up yet because it's off season, right?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, it could be that.
Could be that.
So, yeah. Would you ever allow a listener in your...
That's what I was thinking. God, we spend too much time together. I was thinking, because there are some guys that would, I think, like to be part of it and stuff. So, yeah, we might have to open up to some listeners. But just remember, I can boot you, too.
Yeah. Don't be a jabroni. Don't be a jabroni. What are we at for thumbs?
Like, there's not a chance Jasmine's in this.
No.
Not a chance.
77. We're 23 away. We got like 6 minutes left. If you'd like, hit the thumbs up. If you don't, then that's all good, I guess. It's positive. We're trying to be positive.
Yeah, I was trying to be positive until Jasmine got in there. I've been positive. This has been positive January for Gage. And look who comes in.
Bronco Nick says, "I'm in, Gager." Van Owen says, "Dibs."
I like it.
Well, we're gonna look into this Fan Tracks because if it's easier, like to kind of navigate and all that. Because I'll be honest, the F1's a little tough.
No, it's not. No, it's an app on your phone too. Like it's easy. Yeah, it's very easy. You have to remember your password. I know that's tough.
It is tough.
Jesus.
It's extremely tough.
And it's actually way better on the F1 app because it lets you know what you can and can't do. And I don't know how Fan Tracks works. It's probably quite similar, but come on. It's so easy on there.
I appreciate Matt showing his face. That's from Barry the Cheater. But where is Reed with the slam dunk when you need them. And then we got
that would be good.
We got a lot of for Bruce Hotel, so a lot of people chiming in on the River Cree inbox. This one says barbacoa in Spruce Grove.
Barbacoa, Spruce Grove. Huh. Yeah, no, I haven't gone to Bruce, but I've seen pictures, and someone showed me a picture. There was like all these exotic cars out front, like so people had driven out there in like Lambos and stuff for a steak. So
steaks are the best. I want to like learn like I've been like watching on YouTube or IG like the chefs how to like grill your steak to perfection.
Grill or what? What are you looking for?
Different like grill, fry.
The best way I think to cook a steak, really, a ribeye cut, nice and marbled. But if you have a sous vide machine, it's the ultimate. So it's basically a big thermometer. You get the food saver packs that you can vacuum seal. So you vacuum seal a steak. I usually use a couple sticks of butter, some crushed garlic cloves, and maybe a few things of rosemary and thyme, right? Submerge that, and it cooks it perfectly and we'll keep it at like 100. I do like 100, but anywhere between 115 and 120.
Okay.
Usually 115. So I'll do it for like a day because it'll just break down the fat in the steak.
Okay.
Once you're done, after that 24 hours, you're ready to eat it. You just basically sear it both sides, get nice and hot. The temperature will rise a little bit more, so you still want that medium to medium rare kind of middle.
Yeah.
And it'll be the best thing you've ever tasted.
Yeah, because like I know that Rusty says smoked steak is. I don't have a smoker. Like I'm just like say I buy some steaks and you just have a nice kind of frying pan like a.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I want to learn how to like make it nice and because I saw a few videos where they kind of fry the fat first and then they fry each side 2 minutes and then they put it in the oven for a bit.
You can do that too. Like it depends on what pan you're going to use too. Like a good stainless steel is great.
We have really good ones, yeah.
Or if you have a cast iron too, like I'll do in the summertime, I'll put the cast iron out and just get that thing like 1 billion degrees, and it takes like 2 seconds, and you're just putting a hard crust on that steak, especially after you sous vide it. That's what I do.
You know who gave me a cast iron? Chris Jones.
Really?
Yeah. Last year when he showed up before training camp, he brought cast irons for everybody.
Really?
But mine's really small, so it's like kind of like for eggs. But he told me first I gotta like soak it in oil, to get it prepared, then heat it, and then do the same thing again. Then it's ready to use.
Yeah, you can. I mean, you can only season it once. You just don't wash it. If you get I saw these. I was going to get one for my brother-in-law. It's a chainmail glove because you stuff on there, and then you just get hot water and scrub all the stuff off. Does a really good job. But yeah, I re-season my cast irons every year.
He did say, he goes, you don't ever wash this with soap or anything like that. So he was...
you want that grease to build up in there.
It was funny because like me and EJ and Evan Dom got small ones, but then for other people, he had like the big ones. I was like,
really?
damn, I would have loved the big. Because those are awesome to make eggs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you can even get a cast iron, just a big plate for smash burgers, those are the best.
That's good. Anthony says, you boys come out here to Spring Lake. I'll get tomahawks and throw them on the smoker and then reverse here in the cast iron pan. Anthony, we're going to hold you to that.
Where's Spring Lake?
How far is it, first of all? And then Duck Dad says, the best way is cast iron, sear each side 1 minute, oven 400 for a couple of minutes, flip and add blue cheese on top, back in for another couple of minutes, saute in the... You know what I've noticed too?
Nice.
In the pan, like in a frying pan too, like it's when you flip it so you start it and then you flip it and then it's just the garlic and the butter and you just keep kind of putting it on top. Yeah.
What I like I like to make a little like usually a mushroom cream sauce. So I'll get the mushrooms ready, sear the steak, get all the brown bits, then I'll throw in some either flour or cornstarch, mix that in with the onions, mushrooms, and then a little bit of cream, white wine, cream, make a little cream sauce. Oh.
Anthony says, 10 minutes west of Stony Plain, Kulak country.
Jeez.
Oh, can we invite Brett?
My boy lives there.
And then Rusty says, grilling with Gage, a weekly segment in the summer.
Yeah, I think it would be nice to get Cass and I, because Cass is good with the pots and pans too, and I'd love to do a little thing with Cass, and we got to do a brisket. We got to cook a brisket this summer, and we'll bring it in and just.
Like I've learned a lot in the kitchen. My food's pretty tasty. It's just learning how to do different things. And it's funny because everything I have saved like on my social media is all food recipes.
Oh, I know. It's terrible. My son last year for Christmas, he got me for all you Skyrim people out there, he bought me the Skyrim cookbook. And so it's the video game with all the things in there. So I made a few things out of there. It was great.
Can you make the potions that they got in the game, or is it just the food?
No, it's just the food.
I'm sorry. I had to check. That's cool.
I got an invisibility potion at home.
Yeah, right?
Rip said he's
turmeric.
Rip City says Gage is amazing, and then Van Owen says, why would you ruin a good steak with mushrooms? To each their own.
They're on the side, man.
Yeah. Anthony says, I'd guess on that segment. Well, it sounds like Anthony's pretty good around the grill, so we might have to get some more information there. But yeah, if you want us to have a summer cook-off or anything like that, partner up with us.
Yeah.
Maddie at Edmonton Sports Talk.
It'll be good if we can get down to, we'd have to get down there pretty early. But, some burgers on the grill for the tailgating.
Oh, that'd be great.
Hey?
So a few Elks, we got to get out of here right away. But a few Elks last offseason, they got invited to a barbecue class on how to they said it was awesome. Then they got to try food.
One of the best things I ever did was go to You Need a Barbecue in Sherwood Park. They have sessions to learn how to smoke and how to cut different cuts of meat and how to do it all. It was so much fun.
All right. Big thanks to Derek Van Diest, Lee Hacksaw Hamilton. Thank you for all the downloads and the views this week. We'll be back on Monday. Reminder, Reed Wilkins is coming up 3 to 6, followed by the All-Stream pregame show with Tom Gazzola. We got to get out of here. For Joaquin Gage and Zach Kubish, I'm Hernan Salas. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the game. Stay warm. We love you, nasties. We'll chat soon. Ciao.